Hey, I think it's gonna work now. I live in the desert. It keeps telling me bad connection, and I think I fixed it. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm Shamaree. I'm relationship and intimacy coach, and I'm here to do our weekly live. I'm trying to get my Facebook to do the live at the same time. For whatever reason, my internet is not letting me do Instagram and Facebook at the same time. If it doesn't work this time, then we'll just have to stick with one, I guess. But like I said, my name is Shamaree. I am a relationship and intimacy coach. I'm the owner and founder of Shamaree LAB LLC, and it's all about relationship and intimacy coaching services. And I started doing these weekly lives last week so that I would be able to kind of answer some questions that people typically submit to me, things that people have asked me, have reached out to me about, whether that be in the DMs or in my stories where I kind of put up that post and I ask you to submit me questions. So I've had a few questions that I see a lot, or questions I think are just kind of interesting to answer. So that's what we'll be doing every week, and it's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is where I am, but that would be 5 Central and 6 Eastern. So if you want to kind of tune in, those are the regular times. Yes. As far as the weekly thing goes, I'm going to try very hard to do it every week. However, if there's a holiday or special occasion, or if I just need kind of like a mental health day, then I will let you guys know that ahead of time. So next week, obviously, it's Valentine's Day. So I will not be doing the weekly Q&A for next week. However, you may still see me live, and my husband and I are going to be doing cute stuff, I guess. So if I do a live or do post any content whatsoever, it's going to be a very quick sort of thing, just to kind of check in, show you what we're doing if it's interesting, and maybe to give you guys some ideas about what you guys can do. But yeah, don't look for the usual question and answer next week, because it's not going to be the usual thing. The following week is my anniversary, so I'm also not 100% sure if I'll be here then either, but we'll see. I'll definitely let you guys know if for any reason the Q&A is not every week. All right, so this week I do have 4 questions, just like last week. I'm going to try to keep it at the 4 so that these are not super long, but also so that they're not too short. You guys get a little answer for things that you may want to know. So I have my questions here as always. That's why I keep looking down. I want to make sure that I get them. So the first one, okay, why are men all the same? So first of all, they're not, but there are some commonalities, yes, of course. Whether that's biological, physiological, or just kind of socially how they're bred to be. There are very much commonalities, and if you know a lot of men, you know that there are some things that are in common, just like with some women, there are things that we have in common, right? So I get that, but what I always say is we have no control over anyone else in our lives. Anyone else, even if it's our child, we have limited control over what they do, what they say. We have no control over what they think, right? So you cannot control what men do or don't do. However, if you're noticing that there are patterns to the type of men that you are attracting or that you're giving your time, then you might want to take a look inward, because that way you're able to know what it is about you that's attracting them, what it is about you that maybe likes them or is intrigued by them, or if there are certain patterns that you're falling into that maybe you're not aware of. Sometimes, especially if we haven't had positive examples of what a relationship should look like, we don't really know how to create one because we haven't really seen it in action. We don't know what the steps are. So naturally, we do fall into patterns. Even if we know that they're not good patterns, it's very easy for us to fall into them because that's all that we know, right? So no, they are not all the same. There are those commonalities, but if you're noticing that you're attracting the same type of person over and over again, then look at yourself. Like I said, what is it about you that is attracting them? Because it might be something about you that they like. What that is, knowing what that is, better equips you to deal with it. If it's something that you're falling into a pattern on, we can change our patterns. Patterns are not things that you have to keep forever. We can change our behaviors. We can change the things that we believe. We can change how we act. And when I say that, I know a lot of women are like, well, that takes responsibility away from them. Like men, they don't have to change. They don't have to do anything. And it's not about that, because it's not about them. It's about you. So if you are putting all of the responsibility onto them, like I said, we don't control them. We can't change anyone. So if we're sitting there and waiting for them to make a difference, then we're going to wait forever, because we can't make them. And who's to say they even want to change or they care to change, right? So I don't know. I'm not in their mind. I'm not in their brain. So what is the better option is for you to take accountability, take responsibility. Why do I even give them the time of day in the first place? I can think about that and I can figure that out. And then once I do, like I said, I can make those changes and I can make those adjustments. And then it gives me the power. I have the power to choose whether or not I entertain these type of people. So that's how I answer that. So men are not all the same. There's plenty of different types of men. I've encountered a few different types of men. My brother is not the same as the guys that I work with. They're just not. There's commonalities, but they're not. If you're attracting the same type, definitely look inward. And if there's things that you can change or adjust, do so that you can attract something different. The second question is, can you be friends with your ex? So this is something that I've had conversations with my friends about a lot, as well as people reaching out to me, asking me about this. And these are all types of relationships, right? So they're like, I try to be friends with my ex and it's just not working out. There's always an issue. And what I say with this, maybe, right? Maybe you can. But I find that if someone still has feelings, and I mean romantic feelings, not just I care about them as a person, because that's very different than wanting or hoping for the relationship to be rekindled. If you have any hope or wish that you guys will be back together at any point, whether that's tomorrow or in 10 years when you're ready, that does not usually work as far as friendship goes. If one person is interested, the other person is not, or even if you're both interested, but you're just not in a place where you're able to devote to having a healthy relationship, usually that brings up a lot of issues. So what I always suggest is that you do your healing, you get yourself together, focus on yourself. And then later, if you genuinely care about this person as a friend, then it's much easier to do so if you don't have any feelings. And if they don't have any feelings. I've had relationships where I left it and I had no feelings. So if you wanted to hang out or you wanted to hit me up every so often, I would be okay. But it's not fair of me if I know that they still love me or they still want to be together. They just want me in their life. So they're accepting me as a friend. They don't genuinely want to be my friend. Relationships like that don't work. So friendships do not thrive in that type of environment. So once you guys are both fully, completely over any romantic sort of feeling, that is when you can consider possibly being friends. But I typically find, like in my personal experience, that once kind of those feelings are done, even if they're they're a great person, cool person, we don't actually become friends. We're cordial. Like I can talk to you ever so often, but I don't feel the need to be friends anymore. And I find that desire to keep that friendship was just so that I can keep them in my life. So I wouldn't have to go through the grief process. So I wouldn't have to feel the pain of being broken up. And you can get over it. It will go away. You're not going to feel that way forever, and they won't feel that way forever either. So definitely, maybe you can be. But I always suggest making sure that you heal well before you try to be friends. The third one, I'll kind of summarize this because it was kind of a long, drawn out situation that they wrote. But essentially, they said that they are dealing with a guy, and he says that he does not want a relationship. He's not interested. That's not what he's looking for at this time in his life. But they do all of the couple things, and I'm assuming that means they hang out all the time. Maybe they go on dates. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's kind of how she put it. He gets jealous, and he does not want her to date other people. And she's like, what does this mean? What does he want? So I don't know what this man wants, right? Like I can't be in anybody else's mind, anyone else's brain, so I don't want to talk for him. It can be a whole host of things. Maybe he's just being selfish. Maybe he's scared of being in a relationship. Maybe he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her. It could be a whole host of things, right? I don't know what that reason is, but what I do know, and what I did kind of ask her in return, is what do you want? I mean, it doesn't really matter what he wants, because you need to know what you want first and foremost. And I don't think that I even got a real answer for that. But you want to make sure that you know what you want. So I've been in situations where maybe I was having fun with someone and I didn't want to be in a relationship, and I meant that wholeheartedly. And so I would want them to kind of respect that, no matter what it is that I was saying or doing. If I'm telling you that I don't want something, I'm pretty serious about it. But on the other hand, if that person were to tell me that they wanted to be in a relationship while I'm telling them that I don't want to, I would want them to leave me alone. Like, I wouldn't want them to sit around and wait and try to convince me, because you don't need to convince me. You don't need to convince anyone that they should be with you or that you're the good choice for them. It doesn't make you a bad person or not a good catch or not cute enough or not smart enough or whatever it is. Just because they don't want to be in a relationship with you. People tend to make decisions based on their own wants and needs more so than anything to do with anyone else. So you can be the most perfect person in the world, but his wants and desires are just that, his. So what are yours? Do you want to be with him? And if you do want to be with him and he's telling you he cannot do that for you, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to sit and wait and hope and dream? Or are you going to find a situation that's able to give you what you want? And that's kind of my response to that. It doesn't really matter what he wants. If you don't even want to be with him for real and you just want him to want you, then that's you being selfish, right? Or you needing that external validation, which is not healthy, because you can't always get that external validation, and we want to be okay whether we have it or not. So if you do want a relationship and he can't give it to you, then you really have to think about what you're going to do in response to that. So don't wait on someone else to define what your relationship is going to be, what you get to have. You decide for yourself. Stop giving everyone the power. You take your own power. I'm all about that. I don't like people making decisions for me. I make my own decisions. Number 4. Okay, so also sort of a summary about what she wrote, but basically she is saying that she is in a relationship. She's been in a relationship, I think, about a year. She said that he's a very good guy. He's stable. He treats her really well, but it's just not hitting like it needs to hit in the bedroom. She's had way better, and she's just not sure what to do, because that's given her pause. So like, you're a great guy, but you're not doing what I need you to do, basically, right? And so with this, I've also had plenty of conversations with friends about this sort of thing. And I am a very understanding person, very compassionate person. So I always say, it kind of matters to me, what exactly is going wrong. So if it's just you not knowing how to do anything or not knowing where certain things are located, and I think y'all know what I'm talking about. If you don't know where it's at, then that's different than maybe someone being nervous and they're shy or something like that. That's very different, because as far as being nervous or being shy, there's ways to work around that. But if you're lost completely, at this point in my life, I get it if you don't want to have to teach them. Unless you like to teach or you like to dominate and that sort of thing, then that might be a great opportunity for you guys to explore in that way. But what I always say is give a person a chance. So you definitely want to have an open conversation about what you like. And you don't want to always kind of point the finger and say, you don't do this or you should do this. Instead, I like when I would like for you to do this to me, or I enjoy when we do this. Maybe we can add this. So this way it doesn't feel like an attack. It doesn't feel like you're belittling them because it's a we thing, because we are in it together. We're doing it together. You shouldn't be doing it to me and I shouldn't be doing it to you. It should be something that we work on together. It's a collaborative experience. So include yourself. Like, I would like for this to happen. I would like this to be what we work on next. And that softens it. It allows them to keep an open mind, because then they don't feel like they're at fault completely because you're including yourself. So I always recommend that, having that conversation and allowing them the opportunity to work on it. Because sometimes, I don't know, I think I said this last week, but men can be shy too. They can get anxiety too. They can have fears too. They can have body issues too. They can worry about rejection and all of the things that I'm sure we all have experienced before as women. Men can have it too. And so I always try to be understanding of that and know that what I do or say can affect them if they're already nervous, and then someone says like, yo, you don't know what you're doing, and like, I don't know if I could deal with this. That would hurt my feelings. Like, I would be upset. So I need you to be understanding of that and allow people the opportunity to work on it. Then over time, if that is something that cannot be improved and you feel like that is something that's highly important for you to want to be in a long-term relationship with someone, then that's something that you guys have to bridge at that point. And you have to determine if all of the other great things about this person are worth putting up with the mediocre activity in the bedroom. If that's not enough for you, that's up to you. So you have to make that decision. I get it. Everyone prioritizes things in a different way. So I can't tell you that that's a silly reason to let someone go, or if you absolutely need to let them go for that reason. But you definitely want to give them a chance and understand where their perspective is. Maybe they don't have a lot of experience. I know for men in society, it's the cool thing to play like you have a lot of experience, whether you do or don't. It's the cool thing to do. But we don't really know what they be doing, and we don't know what they got away with either. If past people, plenty of women, I think it's 5 to 10% fake, or never had an orgasm. More than that have faked it, almost half of women. So it's like, if they're not getting the feedback anywhere, there's never a need to improve or to change anything they're doing, right? So I would always encourage you to have a conversation, see if it's something that can be worked on. And if it's not something that can be worked on, definitely think about how important that is to you as an individual. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, I've also had friends who've had maybe one single encounter with a guy, and they think he's mad cool, he's nice person, he has a good job, maybe he has a little money, whatever, has his own place, all of the things, right? All of the things that we say that we want, somebody who's stable, somebody who's going to treat me right. But when it came down to that first time, it was just a fail. And I always say, especially after the first time, you don't know if that's their norm. It very well could be. But we don't know that, because we have never really, we've only experienced them once, right? So what I always say is give it a second try. They could, like I said, they could be nervous, they could be shy, especially if you've been out drinking or partaking in any sort of substances that can affect performance as well, especially for men. So I say always give it a chance, even if it's that first time. After that, though, Again, consider whether it's worth the conversation, whether it's worth the energy to teach someone, and then go from there. And so those were all of the questions that we had for this week. Again, I do this weekly, unless there is a holiday or a special occasion. Again, next week, Valentine's Day will not be the traditional Q&A. However, I will try to go live. I'll show you a little bit about what I'm doing, just to check in, see how you guys are doing. If you want to submit questions, then you definitely want to do that throughout the week. I usually post that in my stories at least a few times throughout the week. I will try my best to do it every day from now on, just so that no one misses it, so that you guys can go ahead and submit questions, things that you want to know. There's also a few other ways to get in touch with me. So again, let me just introduce myself. I am Shamaree. I am a relationship and intimacy coach. I am the owner and founder of Shamaree LAB, and I do these weekly Q&As so that you guys can get some of your questions answered about relationships, about intimacy, about sex, all of the things that people actually really want to know. So if you want to get more information about me, definitely follow me. If you go to my bio on IG, then you'll see my Easy Tree. There you'll see all of my links and all of the things that I offer. I do want to give you a little bit of information about some of the things that I offer so that you can check that out. If you are watching the replay, then definitely hashtag replay in the comments so I know that you're still checking it out. I'll be here, like I said, every week. It's 3 p.m. Pacific time. It's 5 Central and 6 Eastern, unless there's a holiday or a special occasion. So let me go through my offerings. Like I said, if you go to my IG bio, you go to my Easy Tree, click the link. If you scroll down, you'll see a little bit of information about me. So if you're interested, check that out, read through it. But if you scroll down and you want to go down a little bit further, so I want to start with the free stuff. So if you go to the freebie section, you'll see there that I have a webinar, and that's new. It's called Come Confidently. So if you are needing a confidence boost, wanting to learn how to increase your confidence in any way, then you definitely want to check out Come Confidently. It's an hour-long webinar. It's pre-recorded, completely free, and you'll get tons of information about ways to work on your confidence. There's 3 specific strategies that I mentioned there, so you'll want to check that out. Another freebie that I offer is a list of 40 plus physical intimacy types. So if you are either tired of the same old same, or maybe you just don't know what you like when it comes to physical intimacy. And I don't just mean sex. Physical intimacy can be any sort of touch or physical interaction. So the list of the physical intimacy types will include all of those different sorts of things to give you some ideas about what you guys can be doing, what fun you can have. And I also included a table where you can keep track of the types of physical intimacy you enjoy and who you enjoy it with. If you have a partner or partners, you can also have them do it. This way you guys can kind of compare a list and see what types of activities they like, because maybe those are different than yours, and you want to make sure that you're doing things that both or all parties enjoy. And then the third freebie, and this is the last freebie that I have, but it's a sex topics list. So I know talking about sex can be very difficult for a lot of people. It's like a taboo thing. It's not like it's shameful, like it's a private thing, right? But if you are the type that's either really scared to talk about it, or you don't know how to talk about it, so maybe you want to, but you just don't know what you should be talking about, the sex topics list will give you different topics that you can touch on. So it'll give you different ideas of things that you can say or bring up in order to make sure that you're covering your bases and that you guys are on the same page. Especially if you're going to be doing it with the person, you want to make sure that you're both kind of on the same page so that you're able to get what you want out of it and so that they can as well. So those are the free. Next, I have a journal that just went live. It's on Amazon, and this is a journal that I created. It's a bullet and written journal. I created it so that you're able to kind of keep track of patterns and see if there's any correlations with things in order to better cultivate a life that you enjoy. So the journal is called Confidently Have the Pleasure You Deserve. So in there, there's ways to track your mood. You can track self-care. I also include dates and sex so that you can see if on dates that you feel a certain way, if you're more likely to engage in self-care, or if you're more likely to have sex, or if you go on a date, if that makes you more likely to have sex, or those sorts of things. So you can see what kind of creates those days that you feel a little bit better. And once you know what those things are, you can do it more. And that leads to more pleasurable life, a more enjoyable life, a more fulfilling life. So that journal is on Amazon. Again, if you go to the link in my bio and you scroll down and go under shop products, it's the only product listed currently. And then the last thing that I do have to offer is my course, Better Sex Guide to Confidence, Satisfaction, and Orgasms Without Faking. So if you are interested in the course, that is also, like I said, in my Easy Tree, and it's the first thing under courses. So if you click on that, you'll get a lot more information about the course. So you'll see what's included, and there's a lot of stuff included. It's a lot of information. It's a 6-month course. It's designed that way. However, it's self-paced, so you go at your own pace. You can take as long or you can go as quick as you want to, whatever works for you, but you have it forever. So once you pay for the course today or whenever you do, you will have it for the rest of your life. And that includes any changes or updates that I make along the way. So as we learn more information, as things change with the world, obviously, we get more information about sex, about relationships, technology, all of those changes. The course will be updated along the way. So you want to make sure that you get it now, you finish it, check back in. You might see there's some new stuff there, some new things that you can check into. I also encourage you, if you do purchase it, to check back in anyway, just because as we learn and we grow, things that we like and things that we enjoy, how we feel about ourselves, how we see ourselves, that also changes. So the course is something that you can do multiple times throughout your life. There's tons of activities, tons of videos, and things that really help you to, like I said, Better Sex Guide to Confidence, Satisfaction, and Orgasms Without Faking. It helps you hit all of those things. So again, I'm Shamaree. I'm a relationship and intimacy coach. If you have any questions or anything, you can hit me up in the DM. I do give limited information in the DMs. So if you do want to submit your questions, look for the post in my story. You can submit questions there. You can also join my Facebook group, which if you go to my Easy Tree, again, all the way to the bottom, all my socials are there. So you can join the Facebook community. I am in there. I want to give advice and tips there. So you're probably more likely to get information back from me there than in the DMs. But definitely reach out. Let me know what's going on with you. I want to answer all the things that people want to know, even the things that maybe people don't talk about. So let me know. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm about to go chill out and get ready for dinner. Like I said, I'm on the West Coast, so it's still a little bit early here, but I'm going to go. Take care, guys. See you next week.